Hello my friends, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are returning, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we are going to talk about nursing interviews. This is so scary and so nerve-wracking as a new nurse or as a nursing student about to graduate. Everything about the interview process is like petrifying. I remember wanting to throw up and being like, oh my God, this is my first big girl job and the first time that I felt like I really needed to make a statement. And I feel like I have an open personality anyway, but I was fairly nervous. So I'm going to share with you some tips that I use to help me navigate the interview process, to be well prepared, and to feel like I could be successful on any interview at any time with any of the questions they'd ask. So one of the biggest things that we need to talk about is, when do you start applying for new jobs? I think there's a pretty big question about this for all new grad nurses or soon to be new grad nurses. When you should start applying for a job is really going to be up to you, honestly. Do you need a job right after school? Do you plan on taking a little bit of a break before you find a job? Is it imperative that you have something lined up prior to finishing school? Whatever category you fall into, you can then gauge what you need based off of that. So for me, I wanted to get a job right after school. As soon as I passed my NCLEX, I was like ready to hit the ground running. So I applied about 2 months before I even graduated or had passed the NCLEX. Other people I know waited until the beginning of this year to start applying for jobs. And we graduated last August, so they had a decent amount of time between graduation and when they started applying to a job. But again, it's all going to be based off what you want and what you're trying to get out of moving forward. If you're pretty set on getting a job shortly after school, I definitely suggest applying before you graduate. A lot of hospital systems have new grad programs now, which allow you to like ease into the workload, whether it be like training or longer preceptorship or a year of a certain program. However the hospital system works, they have a lot of things available now to new grads that they did not previously have. So as a new nurse, when you're applying to those, they are filling spots for like certain times in the year, like springtime, summertime, fall time. So you'll only have a couple months in those periods to apply for a job before the next period comes around. Does that make sense? So if you miss the fall section for applying for a new grad residency, then you're going to have to wait till the spring session. And those are a few months apart for most of the new grad programs. However, there are plenty of new grad opportunities out there, so do not let that deter you if you decide to wait or apply earlier. However that works for you will work regardless. So start looking at what your plan is upon graduation and what your goals are for yourself, and then gauge applying for a job based off of that. When you are going to an interview, whether it be online or in person, I know my interview was online because COVID stuff was still going on. They still may be conducting things that way, I'm not sure. But if it's online or in person, be early. Turn on your computer 20 minutes before you need to be in the application that you're getting the interview in, and make sure that you can sign into it. Make sure that everything is working for you. If you're going in person to an interview, be 30 minutes early to the location, but be 10 minutes early to the actual interviewer. So if you're going to an unfamiliar place or an unfamiliar hospital, especially some of these bigger hospitals and medical centers, you do not want to get lost. And it's so easy to get turned around, especially if you're in like big cities or something. So you don't want to have to make a 10-minute detour around the building because you don't know where you're going. So try and get there 30 minutes early and kind of map out where you're going, sit in your car for a few minutes, but get to the interviewer only 10 minutes early. I hate being late. Being late is the bane of my existence. I hate being late. However, if you are too early, it can put a lot of pressure on the person that you're meeting. Whether it be an interviewer or a colleague or a friend that you're meeting for lunch, I always am very early and I'll text them closer to the time that we were supposed to be there instead of the 20 minutes that I've been sitting in the parking lot like, hey, I'm here. Because then they're like, oh no, I have to speed up what I'm doing. I have to get there faster. And that's not true. And you don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on yourself or anyone else, especially in a situation where you're already going to be kind of stressed out. So try not to be too early to the actual person that you're interviewing with. 10 minutes is perfect. But do try and be early to the facility so you can navigate your way around leisurely and get there comfortably and not be rushed or out of time, because you certainly do not want to be late. You need to come to your interview prepared. You need to practice with a friend, practice with family. It does not matter what questions you prepare with, it just matters that you're prepared in general. You want to go through these things and, for as weird as this might sound, feel the words like come out of your mouth and the things that you're saying so that you can be professional and prompt and clear in the message that you're trying to send. You don't want to have them ask a question and you sit there like, I don't know. That's not gonna get you a job. That's gonna get you. So make sure that you come prepared by practicing interview questions. And you want your answers to be geared towards the patient experience and safety and expressing who you are as an individual in a way that says, I want this person to work for me for the next 50 years. Because you're reliable and you're good and you are sending that message when you answer the questions smoothly, like you've come prepared, like this job matters to you. On the topic of things that matter, the way that you are dressed is very important. I would suggest if you're doing a computer interview or an in-person interview that you see what the day entails for you. If you're going to shadow for 4 hours after the interview process, then it's probably wise to wear scrubs. If you're going in for a 20-30 minute interview process, dress business professional. This matters. If you show up looking grungy, they're gonna treat you grungy. The biggest piece of advice to you would be don't wear jeans. Wear anything but jeans. There are so many good, fashionable, cute interview outfits. Pinterest something, but definitely don't wear jeans and show up looking presentable. I guarantee that you are going to get asked questions that you weren't prepared for. I had studied every question that I could find on the Google, and I still got a question that I didn't prepare myself for. However, I prepared a lot prior, so I felt like I was able to be real and honest and open to answer a question that was asked that I maybe didn't know in the way that I had practiced everything else. And when you're answering questions that you're unprepared for, it is okay to be honest and to take a moment and think. Not in the way that you're like, I'm so unprepared, I have no answers for you, but in a way that says, oh, I didn't think about that prior, but let me think for a minute and digest what you're saying. That's how normal conversations work. If you are too rapid fire, they're gonna be like, this chick or dude is a robot, and like they know everything and they have all the right answers. And someone who has all the right answers is not always the right answer. You know what I mean? So don't over prepare to the point where you're a robot. Prepare for common questions and things that you know will be asked of you, like why do you want to work here? Or what makes you a good fit for our hospital or our doctor's office or whatever. But also be real and remember that like you're human. You're allowed to think about things before you say them. You're allowed to have a moment where you're like, I wonder, and then share the beautiful thing that changed you or whatever that may be. Same with when you're talking about weaknesses. Have honest answers. Do not feed them this like garbage of, oh, I'm so good that I'm bad. You know what I mean? Those typical responses. You 100% want to hide your weaknesses in strengths, but find things that are unique to you. Don't give them generic answers that are like on Google where people are like, I am a perfectionist and that is my weakness. Maybe you are a perfectionist, but find something else that you can speak on a little bit more. That's just my opinion. Maybe you are such a perfectionist that it is detrimental to you. And if that is truly what you want to list as your weakness, that's fine. No one's going to be upset with you for that. But I would suggest that you find something that truly is a skill that maybe you need to work on, or an aspect of who you are that you need to be better about. For instance, I think when they asked me what my weakness was, I said something about not asking for help. And that's very true to who I am. I hate to ask for help because I feel like if I see other people doing things on their own, then I should be able to do it on my own. I always want to be 100 steps ahead of where I am. So I don't want to ask for help and feel like I'm not here, but I'm really here. And that's not a good way to think about things. You should allow people to help you. You will need help, especially as a nurse. You will need help sometimes, and it is okay to admit that, and it is okay to accept help. So I framed my weakness and turned it into a strength that I'm working on by saying, like, I don't often ask for help, but I'm aware and I recognize that I'm not someone who asks for help often, and I'm trying to be better about asking for help before it's too late and before I'm drowning. So be conscious of the weaknesses that you're choosing and the strengths that you're choosing. Try not to be generic and like bland in your answer. Try and make it real. Make your weaknesses real, but make them work for you also. The last piece of advice that I have for you is to look at the facility's mission statement. Everybody is going to have a mission statement, and when you tell a hospital that you know things about them, like, our mission statement is to protect and serve all of America, and you bring that to them and can say, the mission statement to protect and serve all of America really hit home with me because my husband was in the army and blah, blah, whatever it is that makes sense to you. But look at their mission statement, because the hospital facility person interviewing you wants to know that you took the time out of your day to look into the things that they look for and to be someone that cares enough to apply yourself that extra step. So find a way to throw in something that relates to their mission statement. Just like sneak it in there, and I think you'll be friggin' golden with your interview. I never got directly asked about a mission statement, but I said something to the effect of, insert mission statement here is something that I can really relate to. Those are values that I uphold to myself and something that I really believe in, and knowing that I work in a place that I share those values with, blah, blah. So finding a way to throw that little nugget of information in there shows that you did your research, you understand what you're doing, and that you did a little bit of due diligence to the company, and they will be more inclined to hire someone that like cares a little bit more. So definitely check out all of the places that you're going, all of the places that you apply to. Definitely check out their mission statements. Apply everywhere. I applied for positions that I was not qualified for. Did I get interviews? No, but it gave me practice writing cover letters and submitting my application and saying certain things. I was able to market myself to these people, and when you're able to do something like that, you get a lot of practice in different aspects of the getting a job process. Practice makes better. So definitely apply to all the jobs, go to all the interviews. Definitely do not limit yourself by only applying to specific jobs. Apply everywhere and go through the interview process, whether you really want to take that job or not. Going through that process is only going to make you better when you get to an interview for a job that you truly are dying to get. All right, my friends, that is it for the interview tips that I have for you today. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am so excited to have you here watching me on my little YouTube journey and gaining some knowledge along the way. If you like what you see, go ahead and let me know down below. Leave a comment, and while you're there, maybe subscribe, give my video a like, something, I don't know. Whatever works for you, my friend. Anyway, you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video.